The Joe Rogan Experience.
Chris Rock said one of the most mild jokes ever.
It was pretty mild.
Jada
I thought
Pinkett is bald. Apparently, I didn't know this. I found out after the fact that she didn't shave her head voluntarily. She shaved her head because she's suffering from alopecia.
Yeah, I didn't know this either.
So I don't know if Chris knew this, but Chris says a joke around
G.I. Jane
2, looking forward to it. Very mild. Just laughed and even said, "Come on, that was nice." And then Will Smith initially laughs.
Yes.
But it looked like Jada was upset. And so Will changes his tune, walks on stage, and smacks Chris Rock in the face at the Oscars. And then says, "Keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth."
Yes, he does.
And then he goes, "Come on, man, that was a G.I. Jane joke." And he screams it out like,
"Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth." Yes.
And it's like his lips were quivering. And he, first of all, that whole scene doing that in that manner, in that place, is a great example of what's wrong with the glorification of just being able to go up to someone and smack them in the face. I don't think he was thinking that far ahead at all.
Maybe he wasn't, but
I
maybe
think
he's
he was
like
being
in this moment,
emotionally fragile.
probably.
And he acted on impulse.
Sure.
And I think it's a foolish impulse that you do when you know there's no consequences. You don't go and sit in the front row. You're a star at the Oscars. There's a professional comedian whose job is to roast people. That's what he's doing. And what he did was not even insulting.
It's not about...
It was a mild joke. How do you have malicious intent in a mild joke?
Tell me about it.
No,
I'm saying I don't agree that he did.
I'm telling you, dude, this is all rational thinking about an irrational act.
What that was,
he was emotionally fragile and he acted on impulse in a staggeringly stupid way.
I'll tell you something.
I think what he was doing was
you don't think
saving face.
You think so?
He was doing some weird movie thing. It was like he was getting away with it as if he was living in a fictional movie. Like the idea that you think it's smart while wearing a tuxedo to walk onto a stage in front of the world, like literally the world, one of the biggest award shows on earth, if not the biggest, and smack a comedian for the most mild joke, and then sit there quivering, saying, "Keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth," and everybody's just gonna sit there in the shit that you just took on the table. You just pulled your pants down and took a shit on the dinner table, and they all have to just sit there and look at that. That's what it's like. It's just the whole idea behind it is completely irrational. But what I'm saying is, like, these people live in this fake world of, you know, you're protected by guards, you're driven by limos, you're on the red carpet, you know, like all of it is crazy life. And he's so goddamn famous and so removed from regular discourse and interaction with regular people that he, for whatever reason in his head, acted like he's a character in a movie. Yeah, but here's what happened right afterwards. He won the Academy Award, then goes up and does a speech. The whole thing was so bizarre, and it made me think, like, how many other human beings could be in a similar situation and pull that off?
Not many.
Like if a man walked on stage and smacked a woman.
That would not fly.
Would not fly.
Not fly.
If a woman walked on stage and smacked another woman, I don't even think it would fly.
Probably not.
Probably not.
But
I just think in terms of society standards, I don't think they would have accepted it the same way.
No.
It's like it was a rare instance where someone is so enormously famous and successful like Will Smith that they literally still allowed him to not just win the Academy Award, but also go up and accept it and give a speech after he assaulted a small comedian.
Yeah, they should have ejected him. They should have ejected him from the show.
100%. 100%. I agree with that. You can't just go smack a man in the face in front of the world and then go about business as usual. First of all, it sets a terrible precedent.
Yes.
In so many different ways. It sets a terrible precedent for comedy clubs.
Yes.
Like, are people going to decide that they're going to go on stage and smack the comedian
I
now?
hope they try to smack Brendan or you.
Well,
I just want to see one Joe Rogan turning sidekick. Yeah, Chuggy.
I don't necessarily think people are going to change their behavior, but dumb people might. But also, it's just like, what are we saying as a society when the people that we look up to, for whatever reason, for good or for bad, we look up to actors.
Yes.
And the Academy Awards is supposed to be them in their most regal outfits, their best behavior, and to drop down to violence for something so innocuous as a G.I. Jane joke. Well, I think what we're looking at also is the culmination of a long period of like emotional distress. Like that family's been public about all their issues, and you know, there's a conversation that they had to have, like the two of them together, about infidelity or about open relationships, and they were openly mocked because of that. But I think there's a certain defensiveness that comes along with that.
Well, then you know what?
When you've been out in the public getting mocked. Like,
sit in it then.
That's my whole point of this.
Yes.
Like, this is a nonsense scene
you're right.
where you're allowed to just go smack someone.
You're right.